Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime on my Media Prime. As tradition demands on this program, Tuesday we are going to be looking at issues of relationship and marriage. We this day are going to be looking at the increased extramarital affairs out there amongst couples and persons who are into relationships. We are looking at it as a major cause of relationship and marriage tensions. How do we overcome this vice that is tearing families and relations apart? We are going to be discussing this with panelists, regular panelists who are already in the house. Apostle ALFRED ESSINGIE is in the house. He was not there last week, but he's here this week. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm excited to be here again today. It's always a privilege to talk to the people out there. I want to assure you that today is going to be very hot.
Okay, we are also there in the company of our consultant, Apostle AMBE Valentine who is there. Good evening and welcome, Apostle.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Cameroonians. Good evening, viewers of Prime Hour. It's another hour of relationship. God bless you for being our audience tonight. Greetings to the people of Couples Corner. We are getting set for something big.
We are also in the company of Apostle LEFOR Divine. They call him the Love Doctor, all the way from Boya. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Good evening, and good evening to all our viewers all over the world. It's another amazing session of this program, and we can assure you that we are going to have a wonderful time, and it's always a great pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to start with you, Apostle ALFRED. We are talking about extramarital affairs. When we talk of it, many persons still don't want to understand or may not have a full understanding of what extramarital affairs is all about. What do we understand by that?
Yes.
Is it cheating? Is it what?
Extramarital affair is a whole bundle. It has a lot of things that goes on there. That is doing what you're not supposed to do to the opposite sex after you're married.
Okay.
Do what you're not supposed to do to an opposite sex after you're married. But a lot of people limit extramarital affairs to adultery, maybe fornication, and some other kinds of activities that takes place, romantic activities. But yours truly, extramarital affairs are so many. It involves a lot of things. For example, you are, chatting with a woman that is not, your wife, and then talking some romantic issues, or maybe you're looking at a woman strangely, or you're trying to make some advances. Just for example, like in the United States of America, if you look at a woman in a very lustful manner, you can go to court for that, because somebody like Bill Clinton suffered some issues like that, where you said you looked at me, you naked me with your eyes. So it's considered extramarital affairs. And people came into marriage without the knowledge of the emotions, especially in marriage, and they saw marriage like a cure to emotional issues or fornication. Like even the church people, I'll call it the church people or the Christians, they know that marriage is like a cure. They say if you cannot control yourself, get your wife, or marry a woman, your own wife, because you cannot control yourself. So it's like they were saying that Paul was prescribing marriage as a cure for extramarital affairs, for extramarital affairs, or for fornication or for adultery. And unfortunately, it did not help a lot of people. So many people find themselves into those kind of things, especially Christians today. They find themselves in extramarital affairs because they were wrongly coached, or maybe the scriptures they quoted to them in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, where it says that if you cannot hold your emotions or you cannot control yourself, you better look for your own wife. It's like saying that when you get your own wife now, you'll not be able to look at another woman, which is unfortunately very wrong idea, because you must look at other women. Beautiful women are passing here up and down, so it gives you some kind of things. Because the Bible also says clearly, it says that when you commit adultery or those kind of things, but I want to tell you something. If you only look at a woman lustfully, lustfully. It means you look at the woman with the ambition for sex. You look at the woman with the desire for sex. You look at a woman with the eyes of immorality. It's just telling you clearly that you have committed extramarital affairs. That's what the Bible says clearly.
You say discussing with other women. Are you saying that the man should not discuss with other women?
No,
what are you saying?
Discussing with other women in romantic and emotional aspects, like touching some kind of emotional things. Look at your hips, look at your breasts, look at your lips, those kind of things. When you see all those kind of things, you are attracting, you're arousing yourself and also arousing the other person, which also pushes you to begin to think some emotional issues, which the Bible clearly say that you are looking at the woman lustfully, which brings you to the point of cheating.
I know, God.
Yes.
They say the flesh is the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak now.
Yes, it says that's why you have to walk in the spirit. That's what it says. You have to walk in the spirit so that you continuously live by the spirit.
And but we understand that not everybody can walk at the level of your spirituality.
Exactly. Not everybody can do it. That's why we're trying to handle that here. We're trying to trash it and to tell you how you can be able to handle it, because you cannot be in the spirit 24 hours. You can't be in the spirit 24 hours. You always find yourself lusting. You'll find yourself admiring a woman, especially those with hips. I'm like sorry for some of our churches where we have ushers and some kind of protocols who dress funny, and at the end of the day you hear some funny stories coming from pastors and other leaders because they're falling into fornication, all this, and you ask yourself, what did happen? They are humans anyway.
Apostle AMBE, yes, the stories are just everywhere. Is it possible to not to talk with other women, not to look at other women the way Apostle ALFRED is saying, not to have feelings for them? That is, you have to, what they call in pidgin, tie hat. Is it possible?
Yeah, Mr. Leo, we are pastors, but I don't want to limit myself within the four walls of the church or within the circumference of the Bible. We are talking to all categories of people on the platform, so we have to be giving universal solutions. If we tint it towards the Bible only, we're going to be affecting the Muslims who don't know the Bible, the Buddhists, the Shintoists, the Confucius, as well as other religions. Let us talk from a generic point of view. What are the reasons why people have extramarital affairs? Because it's very common today, almost everywhere, and the common word that has been created for that is side chick. Side chick. We only know about side. We don't know side men. Yes, we only use side chick. It looks like that my extramarital affairs functions on one side. So they have created a word for the men. I don't know what they have created for the women. When men have women out of their marriage, they call them side chick. And when women have men out of their marriage, we don't know the name yet. In other words, they are trying to tilt adultery towards the side of the men, but it is something that occurs on both sides. To me, I used to find this challenge of adultery or extramarital affair or cheating, it has a lot of reasons that varies from one stage to another. And we are going to be helping the population understand the reason why such things occur and how we can be able to avoid them. They used to say women cheat when they lost intimacy. Men cheat when they are bored. Adultery of monogamy in those days was when you have one woman for life. But now monogamy is when you have a woman at a time. That is to say, you can have a woman separately, have another woman. It's no longer considered polygamy. So if because you divorce the first one, you got the other one, it doesn't make it polygamy, it's still monogamy. The monogamy, they actually say one woman for life. But now monogamy is one woman at a time. So you can have a woman in 2015, when you separate with her by 2019, you have another woman. You are not having any contact with the woman, it's still considered monogamy. But that's polygamy in an advanced method. Now, what are the reasons why most men or women sometimes go out? There are so many reasons, but I will try to narrow it to an extent where we can understand the major reasons why people go out. Number one, what causes people? When you start finding in an opposite sex what you can't find in your partner. Yes, I'm talking as a marriage counselor. When a woman starts finding in an opposite sex what they cannot find in what they have in the house, they will start seeing a dream man in another person, and vice versa. And when a man starts seeing in another woman what he cannot find in the house, it will start attracting. It's a very strong pull. Because most of the times we get married without actually knowing what our partners completely consist of. As the days are going by, we are making discoveries. Only for you to discover that almost 60 to 70% of what you are looking for is not in the person you are living with in the house. The Bible says that Jacob asked for Rachel. In the night, they gave him Leah. When he woke up in the morning, he saw Leah, began looking for Rachel. That night, in that text of scripture, it's talking about the period of the day. It's talking the days of ignorance. Many people got married in ignorance. And because of that ignorance, a lot of reasons pushed them to get married. Now, when they became enlightened and began discovering what they need in a woman, they cannot find in what they have in the house, they will leave Leah in the house and start looking for Rachel outside. That is the reason, and one of the major reasons for extramarital affairs. When you start finding what you cannot find, what you are looking for, you cannot see in your house, you will start looking for it outside. There is a level you grow in life and understanding that a person you are living with in the house does not complement what you need in life. And you find someone outside that has exactly what you need to complement your life, it will start push you. Now, it may not push you directly into extramarital affair, because extramarital affair does not occur instantly. It's not a magic. It begins with communication. It begins with sharing thoughts. It begins with sharing closeness. It begins with sharing table, sharing actions. And then from there, it can go to some extent that cannot be controlled. This is the first reason. When you find in others what you cannot find in your partner. That's the first reason. The second reason why people go into extramarital affairs out of their marriage, like I said, infidelity, is because of this. When a man does not find peace under an atmosphere, Solomon says it is better to live on a rooftop than to live with a brawler of a woman. And it goes the other way around. When a woman that is beaten in the house finds a man that pets her outside, she will start finding solace in the hand of the person who does not harass her. Lack of peace and serenity under the roof of a man can easily cause that man to fall in the hand of another woman. And that's the reason why scripture says a woman, a wise woman buildeth her house. A wise woman buildeth her house, which means if at all a house is crumbling, the responsibility of building the house should be the woman. The reason why women have been created in such a way that they have the capacity to absorb shock. You cannot give a man pregnancy for 9 months, he carries it. He will cry here the entire neighborhood. So it is in the woman's nature to absorb shock. It is in the woman's nature to accommodate some things. If a woman tells her I cannot accommodate, it means she is denying her original identity. That's the reason why much of the burdens in life that seem to be a bit heavy are on the shoulders of women.
Apostle, let's look at some of the reasons. Some persons think that it is as a result of early marriage. Those who marry in their early 20s on both sides seems to miss a period of their life, and when they grow older in their 40s, 50s, they think that there are certain things that they missed, so they want to go adventure and have a taste of what according to them they missed.
Yes, that is just what we will call a theory. It's a theory, but it might have a significance with respect to what Apostle Valentine was trying to say. When you marry in ignorance, and then you start finding out about marriage in marriage, you might find that who you are with is not who you would have wanted to be with. That is where the problem comes. You see, when we start bringing about age in marriage, which I think is something we would trash in another episode about age in marriage, the problem is not really about the age. A lot of time we're talking about maturity, but which often also comes with age. Often, I say often, but now we must also know that things have moved. There is the half-life of knowledge. Even the Bible says the whole earth is filled with knowledge right now. So what used to take people in their 30s to know, people in their 20s or before they reach their 20s now know. There is access to knowledge. There is a lot of things that, in fact, there's a lot of research you can do just from your cell phone, and there's a lot of other facilities and trainers and all of that. So if it comes to that, I don't think the problem is early per se. It can be without knowledge, that we keep emphasizing here, that people should know. The problem is when you marry, I told somebody came to me, I was counseling, and it's a pastor who came to me and said his wife does not want him to be a pastor. He wants to get into pastorship, and he was a businessman before. He had some other things, but he says now he wants to go into become a pastor, and his wife does not want. And so he said, man, he came to me for counsel. I said, what I should help him. And he was hoping that as a man of God, I should tell him, no, your wife is fighting your ministry. I said, no. I said, you see, that woman did not plan to get married to a pastor. There is nothing you can do about it. She looked at me and said, no. I said, you should have tried to at least figure out your life. Now somebody said, but God can call you anytime. I said, that's true. That's true. But your understanding should have made you keep room. If you understand, this person has a right to say, this is not where I want to go. So I believe people should know where they want to go before they come into. I'm talking in line with the specific area you put me in. So I want us to just say that it's not about the age. It is knowing exactly who you are, where you are heading, and you are sure that that's it. Because after a while, if you discover that that is not the kind of person you would love to be with, it can truly lead to that. But I don't want us to say that just because you marry young means there are some things you have missed. That is also a lie. Because there is nothing on this earth, there is no road you will take on this earth that you have all the experiences of life. Every road has its own unique experience. I believe so. Whether it's your part of destiny, your career path. In fact, the people you're meeting now is a function of the path you chose. There's a path if you chose, maybe our paths would have never crossed. So even the people you will meet is a function of the path you choose. So let's stop sounding like there's a road you will take and you have all of life experiences we see on social media, and you feel like you can be in every place. You can be in every place. The road you will choose will give you unique experiences, and that's why it's better to know that path before you pick somebody to go with on that road.
Okay. We've just been joined by a lady. Her name is ACHUO THERESIA Eno. We are glad to have her with us for the very first time. She is an expert marriage counselor, and we hope that she's going to be a regular panelist with us out here. But I'll start by asking her why many more women are also engaging in this vice, societal vice, extramarital affairs. Some people even think that some married women are now threatening to overtake men in this activity.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Leo. It's a pleasure to be here with you, to join the panelists. And to that question, why women are getting, many more women are getting into extramarital affairs. Just as Apostle was saying, that when your expectations, when you were getting into marriage, you had expectations. Women have their expectations. Likewise, the men, they have their expectations. They have their needs that they want that spouse that is coming to meet. So they go into this marriage with expectations listed out. And when they get into marriage and these needs of theirs are not being met, and if it reaches a point where they start communicating, calling for attention, the attention of their spouse, pointing out where there are lapses, where she feels she's not getting the attention she needs, she's not getting that fulfillment she needs as a wife, as a married woman, as a married lady. They don't get to understand each other, and probably the spouse, the husband, does not get to come to a compromise. They don't come to a compromise about her needs that she has presented to him. There is bound to be some temptations. Yes, there are times that if she goes out, let's say she's interacting, and men, because men will always come, men being men, they will always go even for married women. So if these men come, and especially if she gives room for the opportunity of interacting and expressing some of her needs, because there are times when a woman goes out, let's say meets her ex, they get into acquaintance and they start discussing. If you give room for that discussion, you will realize that there comes a point in time where you become so swallowed into that discussion, and you start complaining. You start pouring out some of your frustrations on your ex, on these guys that you meet, And in the course of him consoling you or trying to, yes, it goes gradually. You start seeing him probably coming closer to you, trying to like, I'm there, I'm available for you, let's meet often. In fact, trying to bring out some of these points, and he has already identified your need. So he knows how to come in. So in this point of him coming in, he's covering up and meeting up to these needs that you want from your husband. And it comes to a point when if constantly you keep reminding or presenting the needs, you keep communicating these needs to your husband, and he's like not getting into a negotiation, you people are not coming into agreement, you don't get to try to see how you can resolve these challenges, probably there is something in him that he's not doing right. Be it in terms of sex, he's not meeting up. Spouses, there are some couples that don't even discuss sex in marriage. And normally spouses are supposed to discuss, as a couple, you are supposed to discuss before, prepare your mind before the sex activity itself.
Discuss in the morning, so that by the time you are coming in the evening, you are
you are already ready. Both of you are psychologically ready for the match to kick off. Yes, you can. It can be with through phone calls, through text messages. There are these things that we women can do. The women have power. You have the power to bring your man to that place where you want him to be in your marriage, for your marriage to be at peace and you get the satisfaction.
Yes, seemingly, Apostle Alfred, almost everybody is saying here that it's because expectations are not met.
It's one of the reasons.
Yeah,
no,
but
we were saying that's one of the reasons.
Predominantly. Where is this coming from? Is this not also because people don't test themselves before marriage, or what is? They don't take time to discover who the opposite partner is, or how do you say that these were my expectations and they have not been met by this person?
No, not really. I don't see much of expectations.
Okay.
I see more of ignorance, and they don't try to know what they ought to know. There's this aspect of regression,
okay,
where people come a stage in life where they discover that they have jumped so many stages they did not have them when they were younger. Especially
the question I'm asking.
Especially there are some times where we used to go for matching in the 20th May or 11th February, we were seeing people eating sardine and blockade.
Yeah.
We wanted to have that kind of weekend with size 4 ball. You know, we wanted those kind of things. You know, like when somebody does not have money, he looks at women and does not want to admire them because he knows that if I go there will be problem. Now he comes to get married in poverty, and then later in marriage he gets money. He now discovers that money was the source for sex, and he now uses this money to go about. That's why you see Moliko there, or in Boya, where you see people leave Yaoundé, other places, and come to look for young girls who are ready to donate their body free of charge. You know, that kind of a thing. Yes, and I will tell you, Mr. Combs, there's something that is very serious about this issue. Okay. Now, people don't know what orgasm is all about in marriage. Okay. And that is what is really lacking. Orgasm does not mean that a woman feels, shakes, or maybe enjoys a feeling at one time. Yes. There's a difference between having that feeling, and there's a difference between to be satisfied during sex. You can have the feeling, but you're not satisfied. And now you're looking for the satisfaction. No, the other one is already running and sleeping. Either the woman say, I am tired. Or the man say, no, I have already gotten the sex and I want to sleep. Getting orgasm is different from getting satisfied during sex. Because getting satisfied means that somebody should be able to pour out their whole energy on you during a romance process. That romance process releases a lot of energy. And then when you release that energy, at the time you come and you get one orgasm, you are paralyzed. You cannot function again. That's when you see somebody say, I cannot continue, I'm satisfied. But how many couples get to that stage? How many? With a society that is full of busy people who don't have time, and the little time they come in the evening is just to turn, and turn. I don't get time, I beg. Just turn, put light off, more, see what you do, and then you just end, pap, and then you say no, it get one orgasm. That it will never satisfy this thing. Now, this woman goes out there, a small boy just passed and touch her on the waist. It triggers a kind of emotion, and the boy begins to look at her eyes. It pulls another emotion, and the boy knows how to start talking, because women are moved by what they hear. But how many men are able to talk to their women? To talk to their women some kind of fine things and some kind of beautiful things. That's what these boys have learned in films, in Nigerian movie and other things, and they are using it against our wives. And then when they begin to use it, you see a woman begin to say, wow, my husband can never tell me this kind of thing. And before you discover, the boy will go there and touch the woman in bad places. When the boy touched the woman in bad places, that woman will never go back to the house. And if she comes back to the house, she'll tell you that what? I am tired. I don't want it. You'll be thinking that she's joking. Yes, she's serious. Because of what? She is satisfied sexually. But the husband maybe gives 1 or 2 orgasms and think that is okay. And that is what brings a lot of problems. It's same with the man. Men they don't only need to ejaculate. They need to be satisfied sexually. It means that there needs to be a romance process, intensive romance process, and touching in certain directions that will make the man weak and tired. But that when he comes up and he ejaculates, he's not only going to sleep, but he's going to be satisfied. And you get up in the morning, you see some kind of smiles that are, some kind of laughter that is, once I take the 10,000, do what you want to do. You know, those kind of things. So I want to tell you that we are really, really lacking. And look, like what Apostle Ambe says, now this one is not just about Christians. It's about everybody, whether you're Muslim or what. There is this aspect of a woman that must be satisfied. A woman wants to be satisfied. A woman does not just want orgasm. She wants to be satisfied. Now, they have different spots. They will tell you, they'll call it a G spot, they'll call it a clitoris, they'll call it one thing or the other. Those things need to be sampled. When you sample it, it gets to a point where it can no longer work very hard again. When you come in for sex, it goes very simple. So if you see that, that's why I told you that this thing is a whole package, it's a whole process. It's not just something that you just get and you say, no, I will have this or this. Now look at some things. Look at some things. A woman gets up and think that because he is now used to the husband, she begins to dress anyhow. She begins to live herself anyhow. She begins to leave her hair anyhow. She begins to dress anyhow. And when she wants to go out to other places, she dresses very beautiful. In the house, she dresses very nasty, knowing that the husband is the one seeing her in the house, but out there, it is other people that are going to see her. That thing that is supposed to produce that adrenaline in the husband is not there. That particular shape and that particular line of pants that is supposed to trigger the man, that line of pants and those kind of things, she wears them only when she wants to go out. Those tight fittings and those kind of things, she's supposed to wear them in the house, where the man will see it and then sit some kind of carelessly in the parlor, throw herself in such a way that the man will just pass and see some kind of careless thing, and then it triggers her in a very high domain. Oh, I'm talking bad fashion on television. Please don't worry.
One of the reasons also advanced by some scholars say it is also because many persons tend to discover that they are getting married to the wrong person. They got married under pressure, either from friends or family, and later on discover that, okay, we made an error, and to correct that error, they have to go looking for their real partners out there.
Yes, those are one of the points I forwarded here earlier. Mm-hmm. You know, never confide your marital challenges in a person you admire.
Okay. Very strong.
Yeah. Never confide your marital challenges in a person you admire. I can tell you that a counselor can be trapped by a woman or a man.
Yes.
Don't be surprised that most people who are doing marital counseling become victims of their messages. Because a woman comes to you and is telling you what she's doing for her husband, the husband is not seeing. And you are doing that for your wife is not seeing. She's having the kind of man
you are gone.
that she does not want, and then the man is having the kind of woman that you want. By the time she starts discussing her worries to you, you begin to ask yourself, where was this girl before I got married to that thing I got married in their house? That is how dangerous. They always advise people to submit their marital worries to elderly persons whom they cannot even develop affection or passion for, or better still, to the same sex. If you start confiding your marital challenges in somebody you may admire, the person may speak back to you as a soothing balm to heal that thing. Once the person starts giving healing to that area you are looking for, you will not go again for counseling. You will start seeing a replacement to what you are going through. That is why it is very delicate for you to know who you confide your challenges to. Many people have gone to confide their challenges in persons they admire and then end up getting those persons as replacement for what they do not have in their houses. That is why to divulge information about your marriage, you must be very careful, because the person you start emptying your heart can either rebuild it or seize it. I repeat, the person you start emptying your heart to, as far as your challenges are concerned, may either rebuild you back to your home, or the person may seize it. And it's very, very delicate when you go and confide your worries to, I mean, even if it's a married woman, another married woman, you start confiding your challenges to, and she start telling you the things that your wife will never tell you, brother, that cap of marriage on her head will disappear. You will start seeing her as a solution rather than a married woman. These are the things we must warn people. It is either you look for one mama that even if you remove her dress, you won't be able to erect, or you look for one papa that even if she does what, it cannot attract you. Because the difficulty we have, especially in churches, pastors begin to confide their marital challenges to sisters that they can admire. That sister sees herself as that envisaged mommy pastor that will come and take pastor out of that sorrow. Then she starts begin to play the role of where mommy pastor is feeling. Can you imagine? She doesn't wash my dress. Daddy, can I give your dresses today to the pressing? You say, what? My wife has never washed my dress to the pressing. Is this girl doing it? Wonderful. Oh, I wish I saw this girl earlier. Before you open your eye, she has never cooked me ekwang. You want to see very big bowl of ekwang is entering the house. Those are your weaknesses you are disclosing to somebody who does not come as a solution, but comes as a replacement. Very, very delicate. People should be very careful when it comes to who you disclose your marital challenges to. The next thing that causes extramarital affairs, which I have taken note about of experience, is this. When people are unable to voice out what they are not comfortable with. There are people that if a woman wears a brassiere that sits here like this, he will not see it. He will swallow it, correct the mistake first before you start looking for where brassiere is properly worn outside.
And some women can wear one brassiere for 3 years. 3 years.
Now, women are they have different orientation from where they are coming from. Some women act like their mother, and their mother was bushy. If you got married to her and you admire her, try to drill her to the taste of person, because we say you don't get married to a wife. You get married to a woman and turn her into a wife. You don't get married to a husband. You get married to a man and turn him into a husband. It's the responsibility. It's a process. Now you have to process this woman to come to your taste. So women come to your house, they are not too exposed. You are the one that has to show them if there is a beach, if there is a soya joint, if there is an ice cream joint. You are the one to show them all those things they don't know. But because some women don't know, some men just take advantage and look for a lady who knows it. Not be all woman chop life where you can marry it. You get red. I woman they run chop life. Before you want turn, she spins you in janga, crayfish. You want to turn, she mixes ice cream. You go and carry a quiet sister who does not know those things. Some of them are even virgins. They have never sat anywhere with a man. Then you say, you cannot even talk about ice cream for canteen. My friend, there's a much shop. You even take her to go and buy a bottle of drink where they are selling for 1,000 francs. You say 1,000 for one bottle. For what? No one day. No one day. My friend, my feeling where they are close them. You'll be looking at it will be it's like two of you are living in two different worlds. So when you start seeing a woman now who is very exposed, and then begins to act the way you think your wife should act, you will say, I don't even know how I got this ngongolo from the house. That's where the trouble starts. So people should learn how to build their wife to the taste they want, because most of the times God gives us seed. He says, give a seed to the sower. You are the one that cultivates that seed to become the tree you want to harvest. So God will never give you a complete woman or a complete man. There are also some men who don't even know how to match colors. Your wife wants to go out with you. She has gone to school, gone to university. She has interacted with guys who know how to wear the jean, the dog side. They know how to wear the ALFRED, the suit. Then you just come out with a green tie, orange trouser, and then red. She say, honey, how do I look? The guy will just say, hi. If I say nah, something, he will say I'm abusing him. It's okay, let's just go out.
with green teeth.
Apostle LEFOR, Divine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he raised the issue already that some persons get married, and once they get married, they forget about the fact that they have to look good for either the wife or the husband, because marriage is already an achievement. So that after achieving that,
There's
forget
no
about
need.
their side, yourself.
Yeah, it is really, that is what happens when people see marriage as the vision.
Okay.
Marriage is not the vision. Marriage is for a vision. When marriage is the ending point, when, especially I say so because in our African context, you ask like an average lady, what are your plans? You hear things like, I get my advanced level, I get my bachelor's degree, I'm married. I get my bachelor's degree, I get my master's degree, I'm married. You see, now it looks like, so that's why sometimes even in the church or in the society, when now somebody has had their eye on somebody and have it, it looks like, okay, I've succeeded. There's nothing you can do, especially in a system where it gets a little bit easier for the world, who are free enough, they know they can even divorce. It is a little bit different. In the church, sometimes these people know that, especially in their system where they know that you cannot just divorce. That's why you see there are a lot of people who are divorced in church, long time, but they are keeping up appearances. I'm saying this as a pastor. There are elders, I know elders who come to church, they are wearing complete, but they are not speaking in their house. As in they're wearing complete, and they're in church with complete, but they don't speak. But they have to keep up an appearance because the system they are in, for them to continue to enjoy the benefits of who they are, or you know, their social benefits of positions and all of that. So we must come to that place where you still continue to put in the work. I know it's always difficult. The truth is, it is easy for us to say these things and list it.
Yeah, but the fundamental issue is we know that we are living in a very fast evolving world. We know how a man should look like to entice or to be likable to almost everybody.
Yes.
Is that man not also supposed to make himself likable
to his wife?
To the wife, and vice versa, because the woman also is supposed to know that out there almost every woman is keeping up.
Oh yes, and that's the truth. These are the realities they must know. But you must also know, we are talking here generally.
Yes.
The truth, that Mr. Leo, is that there are some people, like we have said here, there are some women who don't really care too much, or who are not really having too much knowledge about dressing. But now we have to point them out that it's not just about them now, because truly there are some people that a suit turns them on. They're like, wow, look at how my man looks. But maybe the environment where he's going to, or where he works, he's more with sportswear. No, let's bring a balance to all of this. The world has different expectations, and anybody can admire anything. In fact, we're living in a world where somebody can admire you while you're doing sports and sweating. It looks sexy. You just remove your dress and you're doing sport. It's still something admirable. So let's be realistic. Now, if the woman in the house does not like that kind of thing, you have to, are you getting, a woman in the house might not like that kind of thing. Oh, a woman might like it. Now, a woman might have been imagining and say, well, now which James is a logo, radio move, just do some small push-up, man, see the sweat. You know, these are some realities of life which we pick in movies and all of this. That's why both parties must also put in that work to see that, okay, people are admiring outside. But my problem is not that you're not competing with somebody, but you have to make sure that your partner still admires you the way they used to. I used to tell someone, I said, there was a way that maybe that man saw you. We're talking about physically now. There was a way that this man saw you when you were still young, or when you were still coming into a relationship. And the truth about the matter is, things hardly remain the same, especially when they start giving birth to children, when pressure of work, because we are saying this also, even work, stress, a lot of things changes. So we must also put into work. It happens, it's not only women. Sometimes you see a man with a fat tummy like this, he has reached there and he's telling a woman, go and walk out. That's not also the stomach she met. No, let's all be realistic. Sometimes we make as if it's only the woman who gets deformed. Yes, we know that the birth process at times is not fair to many women. But thank God there are a lot of different ways we can always make up for that. They are the brassieres, they are the beautiful lingeries and all of those things that can always stir up, which we have mentioned here. I think Apostle has mentioned some. But we want to say here that much work needs to be done. But if I want to say something as one of the reasons also why some of these things happen, Mr. Leo, I would like to say that it is a dangerous thing. Let's understand that a partner is trying to understand and do everything for another partner. But you see, one of the reasons why this extramarital affairs concerning understanding comes about is because you talk to somebody about a little part, a little hole or empty space, and this person has enough time to offer you just that which is needed, which becomes a trap. And this is why I always say that the key thing that people need in a relationship is understanding. And anytime somebody shows that they understand, it's easy for you to like the person. And this is often what happens. And that's why communication is always, that's where it always starts.
Okay, it's
yes.
Very important. Good evening to you guys. I appreciate the program. Interesting program. One thing that kills a man's feeling for his woman is lies telling. When a woman develops the habit of lies telling, I lost my feelings for her. In particular, another problem with some women is overfeeding. Some eat like okay. These are the two main things that kills my feelings towards a woman. Pablo is writing from Limbe. Pablo, thank God for the grace that you don't eat much. Good evening, Mr. Leo and the panelists. Most often we lack the patience to watch our partners grow into what we want. Lisa Montana is writing from Yaoundé. Wow, Mr. Liu, evening to you and the panelists, especially Apostle AMBE Chai. He's really hitting the nail on the right spot. Thanks for the topic. I'm glad it's Guan Voma from Elf Douala Chai. Apostle fit kill man with laughter. Okay, Gladys, good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all. A nice program. I have never missed this Tuesday program. A senior friend of mine told me, Atem, your wife will hardly be like the girls you like to date. Just like Apostle AMBE said, we get married to a woman and turn them to wives. That means men will always be with women and not wives. Marriage is a big school. Couples should try to score average. Atem Elvis writing from Douala. Now, Madam Theresia, there is also this issue, especially with you women, that when your partner maybe becomes physically challenged, it's both ways. Or most often I've had cases where people write to me that, Mr. Liu, since I lost my job, I no longer recognize my wife at home.
Yeah, that's true. I'll bear with you or accept on that most probably women get to change with the financial constraint, with the coming of the financial constraint of the husband. But now, the question, one thing I would like to point out is, were they a team? Were they a team? Were the couple, that woman and the husband, were they a team? Were they cooperating? Was the husband always bringing up, were they communicating on their finances before he became bankrupt, before he became financially down? Because if the woman understood you, the challenges, if you planned together as a couple, you plan on those finances together, then they come to the point where there is this financial crash, your woman will support you because she was part of it. She was part of that management. She understood where the challenge came from.
Yes.
She understood where it all came from, where that downfall came from. But when she was not part of your financial management, you were never involving her in your financial plans, in all you have as plans for the future and the present, how you manage your finances. She was out of it. You left her completely out. Then coming to the point now that you are being faced with financial difficulties, most probably, not that she will go out, but most probably it's difficult for her to embrace it.
I don't get
because she looks at it as, okay, when you were okay, you never brought me in, but now you want me to be beside you now that the going is tough. And especially when men, when you were okay, you were financially stable, and you hardly took care of your wife, you hardly took care of your children, you were not that responsible man enough to meet up to your wife's needs, to meet up to the needs of your children, to meet up to the needs of your husband.
So now that
when you come,
now that it no longer works, you should go out?
No, not that you go out. That is mostly the case. The cause, I'm talking of what causes some of these women
to go out
when there is financial constraint.
Madam Theresa, are you saying that if you cooperate very well with your wife and you find yourself in difficulties, she would always stand by you? What of the case of a man who finds a woman and then invests in that woman so much to the point where you may send the wife to school or even send the woman abroad, and at the end of the day the woman finds somebody better than you and still moves on? You were so open to her.
Yeah, in that case I will say I will not be in line with the women. On that point, I would say the woman is not being fair.
But you know it exists now.
Yes, it does exist. There are so many women who have done that to their husbands, whom the husband have really invested in, taken care of. Then it comes to the point where you are now empowered. You become an empowered woman, and the man now goes down financially. And instead of you standing by your husband to support him, you think you are now empowered, and you see yourself now on the same,
with the people of
yes, the people of your rank, and your husband is no longer there. Probably you go to meetings, attend these seminars and meetings and all of that. You discuss and you see your husband, of which is not supposed to be so. It's not supposed to be so. That is where communication comes in, and the place of love, and you understand that your husband, as a woman, you are supposed to submit, whether with him being financially bankrupt or not. You are supposed to be submissive to your husband, and you plan together. You support him. That is where a woman, the Bible says, a woman is a helpmeet. So in this point in time when your husband is financially down, you are supposed to meet up with his needs. You support the family, and you should not do it at the detriment of his psychology. Because most women, I'm sorry, I'm nailing this one now on the women. We are talking about getting a balance in marriage. We want to get a balance in our homes. So it doesn't matter who is right or who is wrong. We are just feeling out when it's wrong, and we address it. So instead, at this point in time when your husband is down, it's the time for you to support him. Come to him with a project. You can decide, say, honey, this is what I think we can do, so that you will still stay my hero that I want you to be. Because I always look at you as my hero, and I want you to stay at that place of you being my hero, you taking responsibility in everything. So you come up with a project. Why not support him financially? If you can, if you have the money, you support him and think of how you can bring him back to his place as a man of the house, rather than, because most women go to the extent of criticizing, condemning the husband, looking down on the husband, and even extending it to their children, making the children know, that your father that cannot offer you 1,000 francs. Come on, I will give it to you. Your mother is here for you. I'll always do it for you. And this is what has led so many men into depression at their old age. Because you realize that gradually what the woman was doing, it was drifting the children away from the man. And the man becomes depressed and left alone.
Now, she is raising a point that some persons think is also pushing the men or the women out there to engage in extramarital affairs. That is, the man no longer finds his place in the house, or the woman no longer finds his or her importance in the house. For example, the woman dominates. The woman is always there with the children, and the man is isolated to a corner. The man would want to also look for where he is considered important, and same for the woman.
Education has a goal.
Okay.
That's why the white man made a lot of use with it to affect the African people. They have a cognitive aspect of the human being. They have the psychomotor, which is the physical activities you can carry with your body. Then you have the affective domain, that has to do with your emotions, how to work in the society, how to deal with people. Now, a lot of people are affected during education cognitively, which has to do with their brain, but they did not also learn how to use their emotions to deal in the society.
Okay.
Talking about this lack and want, it affects marriage in a very high domain, and it does not affect marriage more on the cognitive or the psychomotor. It goes to the affective domain mostly, especially when it comes to the women and also the men. The libido goes down at that level. They don't have the high libido that will make them to desire sex and so on and so forth. Now, they need someone to talk to them at that moment, to caress them, and to be able to bring out their emotional life outside. In most cases, the man becomes aggressive and the woman shifts away. In most cases, the woman shies away and stays in herself. Now, the man starts looking for someone to talk to. The next person they're going to see is the neighbor. That neighbor that, you know, just around that have been admiring them and that kind of a thing. So the next thing you come there, the neighbor discover that you're picking interest in them, and what they do is they decide to put those particular things and create an atmosphere for miracles. Those who work miracles, they know what I'm talking about. There's an atmosphere of miracle that is not found in your home, that is found out there. Now, women know that men love environments. They create that environment for them. Women know that men like what they see. They create things that they see. During that, at those times of depression, a man begins to see things that he likes. He goes for it. He decides to push it what is at home. That time, it is no longer finance. It's the affective domain of a man that is being affected at that moment. And the man now feels for the person that shows love the more, shows emotional things the more, shows some kind of things. Now you see a woman begin to sit carelessly for the man to see her pants, especially when she's putting on a white pants and that kind of a thing, and the man gets crazy and start to see how to meet. Now the man is no longer thinking of the poverty again or what the woman is giving at home. He's thinking now of what he saw that side, and is striking him on his head. And these are some of the things that are very, very, very serious. Now the woman begins to get careless at home and try to be domineering and try to be impulsive and try to control, not knowing that at that time what the man needs is not that kind of a thing. Now, another woman outside is giving the comfort, is giving the love and giving nice things, but you at home, you're trying to control because you think now you're the one bringing money at home and trying to do one thing or the other, especially some of the girls that are going to school. And you think because you have master's degree, you can begin to talk big grammar at that time. Now, what that man needs is not cognition. He needs affection.
What about the story the man is bringing the money, the man is dominating?
Yes. No, I'm trying to bring, because this I'm in line with the question they ask. They ask me of those kind of times that the man is down financially and those kind of things.
The man feels forgotten, sidelined from the issue.
Let me tell you something. I want to answer that your question. Let me tell you something. A small boy can control a woman that has millions. The woman that is controlling the husband at home. A small boy that knows how to handle that woman's affection. Okada driver. You will ask yourself a question: why an Okada driver will go to mommy? They call them sugar mommies. They ready to pay money to these boys to do them those things. So the thing is, there is something the husband is not doing at home that will make the woman to still want to control. She is bringing the money, or she is not even the one bringing the money, but because the husband does not know how to manipulate some things. Let me tell you, the affection covers the highest part of human life. That's why you see they carry us to literature. They carry us, those kind of subjects that are learning in our schools now in Africa is mostly this kind of emotional kinds of things. History, they tell you some kind of stories, then they go to poetry, literature, all those kind of things. Now, the technology and all those things that has to do with psychomotor and all the things, cognitive and everything, they are not teaching us. They have carried it back to China, to all those kind of places who are doing those things and bringing them back to us. This thing also applies at home. Now, a woman becomes careless when the husband does not have money. Now, there are certain things that triggers a man at home. Let me tell you, Mr. Kom, there are a lot of things. I talk to people every day, so I understand what these things are all about. There are certain things that triggers a man. Now, women should not wear pants and repeat them for 1, 2, 3 years, 4 years. Please change them. Pants are very cheap. The reason they make pants to be cheap It's because they want people to buy them. Pants is 150, 500. That kind of a thing. You can buy good pants for 500, 400, that kind of a thing. But now you will see a woman will wear pants, one pant, and the thing, they will be lined. Sometimes it will be torn, sometimes it will be this, and then they want to drive on the road, they have to cover a pan on it. But people will not see it. Yes, it's not attractive. A man should even... A man should look at your pants that you dry on the rope and desire you. Yes, you sun your pants. A man, that is why women don't sun their pants out anyhow, because it is also very romantic.
But are the men complaining to their? Are you complaining to your woman when in this case, or you take it outside instead of bringing it back to her for her to meet up to your expectations?
Can you allow me to talk about?
To her.
Can you allow me to talk?
Taking it outside. That is where some of these problems come in.
You see, I'm causing trouble already here. I'm causing trouble already here. Let me tell you this thing, Mr. Leo. I talked about atmosphere for miracle. Women should create that. Sorry. You think that because you have children, so you should allow the house anyhow. You say that picking them Chakara house. That picking them. So the man come every day that picking them Chakara house, throwing rice for you with a katawe come up for nose. That kind of thing, they see some kind of thing with a piece, with a sheet, and all those things. And then the man will just come for 1 minute. He has gone back to Julie's place because Julie is keeping her room clean. There's no child there. There's nobody to dirty her room. Find bed sheet, find window blind, find everything. Pot way don't wash her clean. They put that for the other thing, but your home is very dirty. Those atmospheres are very, very funny. So it makes the man, even in that depressed situation, he will go out to places that is going to look clean. You see, that is why I call every woman or man, identify the area where you have a problem and work on it.
Okay, and work on it. Some people think that there is a need for excitement. That is what you are used to. It becomes a routine and maybe boring, and you want to see something new that is exciting. But can we, either the man or the husband, learn techniques to always make the home exciting, so that we are not tempted to want to go and taste other things out there?
There are a lot of things we are trying to make them as if they are gifts that are not gifts.
Okay.
You don't need to have a gift to smile. Smile is not a gift. There are women that you are entering your house, their mouth is like bundle cookie tied. Their facial expression alone kills every nerve and tendon in your body. The same with some men. They are too rigid and too strict. But you make the atmosphere tense, romance can never flow. Romance flow under an exciting atmosphere. The next thing we have to consider is that most at times when it comes to extramarital affairs, I mostly see 80%. I've always said on this platform that to every rule there's an exception. 80% of women that commit adultery or practice infidelity, they do it as a revenge of men's excesses. I spoke the last time. They say I am biased against the women. I'm a balanced counselor. 80% of women that commit adultery, they do it as a revenge to the excesses of men. Men are champions and pilots of adultery. And when a woman sees that she's giving her emotion to a man who keeps giving his emotion outside, she will equally look for a man outside to give an emotion as a revenge. But the truth is, societally speaking, it is considerable for a man to have more than a woman. There's an abuse for a woman to be recognized that 4 men have had their way in you.
Yes.
You look more of a prostitute when 4 men have you. A man will be called a polygamist when he has 4 women. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. A woman that can go through 4 men in the society is considered a prostitute. A man that goes through 4 women in the society is considered a polygamist. There's a nice way to address the men. While the man is practicing a system of marriage, the woman is abused for doing that. So any woman who goes out as a revenge, you are stupefying yourself. As a matter of fact, you are adding stupidity to the stupid nature of what is happening in your house. So we will not advise you, because in your case, if 4 men sit and say, I've had her, it's funny. But if 4 women say he has had us, they see the man as a king.
There's a king.
But they say 4 men have had you, they show like a prostitute. It debases you, it reduces your portfolio and your recognition in the society. So revenging to commit adultery against a man is to define yourself the more. The third thing is that we don't understand the difference between behaviors and values. Values are things we believe and hold on to. The behaviors are actually who we are. A man may say, I will never commit adultery. That's a value. But his behavior might not allow him to keep that value. A lot of people make resolutions and they're unable to keep, because the resolution is not their behavior. The resolution is a confession, it's a wish. Somebody say, I can never cheat my wife, only to find out tomorrow he's cheating, because his value is different from his behavior. We are emphasizing this issue of polygamy, infidelity. We have not talked about the roots, your bloodline.
No, I was going to come to that.
There are families on this earth. It is absolutely impossible for them to successfully stay with one woman.
A whole village self.
Yes, it is impossible. I have had so many. They say it is in our system, it's in our bloodline. Our father had 6. How do you expect me, a young man like me, man, not chop my life? I will have only one woman in my house every day. That's the difference between your value and your behavior. And people should be able to understand that you can have very good core values, but as a matter of fact, your nature will not allow you to submit to those values. I'm talking right in the church. I'm talking about even pastors who stand to preach it. I'm talking about counselors in marriage.
Yes.
Who have cancelled many marriages to survive their own is cracking. Because they have the values, but they don't have the behavior. The next thing that kills a man's affection, a woman's affection, is either a nagging wife on the part of the woman. If a woman is nagging, when a man is coming back home and he knows psychologically he's coming to enter hellfire, even the passion to have sex with a woman will not be there. A woman can say a word and every affection in you dies, because there is an oral aspect of sex. What you say and the sounds and the moan you moan during sex can carry somebody to cloud 10 or cloud 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we read a poem in O-level literature. They say the moan of those of memorial end. I think something like come down home. Mm-hmm. When a woman begins to moan, the moaning carries you to another dimension. That's sexually. There are also persons you may start romancing where I say, "Hiya, belly don't fat so." The passion for that thing dies. So this oral aspect of sex is very, very sensitive. Hiya, mob smell so. You don't talk about it today. Your passion dies. Hiya, baby don't grow for your last week. Never shave the week. Your passion dies. Those things are words that should not go. God help me communicate this to me, because these are practical realities in the houses of people that we are not saying them on television. Mm-hmm. And they will not say it. There are also men that get up in the morning, they will not brush their mouth. Oh, don't begin to look as if you fell from space. There are men that will not brush their mouth in the morning. They will just get like that, and the woman sometimes is afraid because it will look like an abuse. And also the woman has an error, because a woman, medically speaking, you have to weigh about 2 pounds in 24 hours. If you don't know it today. And a man is supposed to weigh 1 pound in 24 hours. Some men weigh 1 boxer for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. The woman is dying slowly, but if I tell the man say a boxer is dirty, now gosh, it's no longer cancel. We should be able to separate what is cancel, advice, or abuse. Mm. Yes, I can be canceling you and you call it an abuse. Honey, please, this your boxer has stayed for too long here. It's not clean. You are abusing me. That's foolishness. And this is where the trouble is. Sometimes also,
Abusabe, why would the woman not hide that thing and go and buy new ones and come and replace it?
No.
Hide it and go and look for you ones and replace it.
Some men will be very upset.
No, why? You see
No,
new things,
not
find
I have to
things.
be sincere with you, Apostle. I have to be very sincere on this platform. We are dealing with things that are very sensitive.
Yes.
Not every woman is bold enough to do these things you are saying. But the truth is, there are many nice ways to abuse people kindly. You have to euphemize your language. Only, I thought this your boxers are stayed, so I decided to buy this one. You
Good.
like it.
Good.
Yes.
Don't go and hide it.
Hide it,
When you
yes.
hide it, you are telling our boy,
abuse.
that in the trunk water will kill fish. These are the internal values. Some men don't shave their armpits. The hair should be brown like snuff. And then you hold the girl just say, do the thing.
And now you dey fight for
Go
kiss.
and mark,
Now you dey fight for kiss.
It's not there.
Okay, let us take some messages from out there. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all participants. Marriage people should be known that no man or woman is perfect, but they must make the perfect than man or woman they want. And secondly, they should go in for the internal, not external features, because the external will disappear one day as age comes. If the above are respected, extramarital affairs may decrease. Pano Jr. writing from Boya, I would like the love doctor to react to that after I take the messages. The issue of yes, some people say we should look at
that.
we should look for content and not no, for the content and not the content. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Those in the studio and televiewers of my media prime, some men get involved in extramarital affairs because of lack of respect in his home. Remember, it's not easy to change someone's character. Mr. Teke Liz Tavi is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and to all with you in the studio. I enjoy watching your program, especially when I listen to this great man of God. I'm excellently blessed to have Apostle LEFOR Divine on my screen right now. I'm a young servant of God. Paul, writing from Bangem. Good evening to you, Paul, writing from Bangem. Oops, yes.
Okay.
That is where you are married.
Yes. I want to say, even in the Bible, through Samuel, it is written that man looks on the outside, but God looks the inside.
Yes.
I tell people, I say, the truth is, your intentions never affect me, only your actions. That's why we must always stop intending and start acting. So no matter how you sit here, Mr. Leo, and intend to give me 100,000 for fuel to go back to Boya, you have not yet given me until you have given me. So after 3 weeks, if you tell me where I be really want, that is not. Intentions don't affect. And now that was a very powerful revelation that someone said. Someone said, men look on the outside. So you see, no man has the responsibility to go and search your heart and begin to say, only God tries the heart. That is why even through branding, which today people are started calling it packaging, it's supposed through branding. I teach branding and entrepreneurship. When we talk about branding, we are talking about people reflecting what is inside to the outside. Let people appreciate you, because nobody can know your vision. You are trying to paint the right picture. In fact, brand is about giving people the right perspective of you. But if you are showing them who you are not, that's manipulation, that's packaging. You get what I'm saying? So I want to say here that it is, you did not, in fact, when you meet a woman, the truth is, there is a physical aspect of the interaction. A woman or man must be attractive. True. Somebody asked me that people with physical disability. I said no. Let's stop using exception of the rules and all of that. Everybody has something within. True. But you have the responsibility to take what is within and bring out. I told somebody, I said, even if somebody is not physically great, there is something they do, there is something they did outwardly that drew your attention. It might be singing. In a church, somebody might be singing and you forget that the person is not put on a nice dress, but that's singing. Now you will discover there is something. The point here is this: we must do our best to let the physical reflect what is within us. Let's stop acting like the content, the container does not matter. It does. It truly does. Because the truth is, when we go out, well, when people go out there and see what they actually see before they start interacting, they see but the container. It's container. Let's stop. I said one time, I said, imagine a woman will give birth. I was telling you, I said, every woman has the ability to get fat. You will get married to one tiny lady like this. It does not. In fact, sometimes some of us have seen our classmates.
You mean every woman?
I said,
there was a woman that even a cow with a chopper.
No, I'm saying that. So sometimes you see even their classmates now, and their classmates look at you as your elder sister, like your mother, your classmate. This is a reality. Now, most of these men, I told someone, I said, most of these men did not picture that their woman can get to that size. They did not imagine there will be a day that the woman will wear a belt and you know go rich. You say it tight to you know finally rich. You are like nah. You see that you are sitting on the bed and say, is this real? You are never imagined that. Then but now maybe you are working in an environment where everybody there is still keeping fit. I always say that sometimes you will see, like last time I said something, I said you will see a guy. You are imagining your relationship to be what you used to do in secondary in university or secondary school. You have all the time in life. You go for 1, 2, 3 class and come back and you have all the time to stay in the house. So there is something you must put the work. I told somebody, even after you give birth, don't just let yourself. There is work to do. Keep maintaining yourself both as a man and as a woman to keep fit. Sometimes even some men cannot do sexually because they are not keeping fit. Some men cannot be sexual. The truth is that they have become so fat, they have drunk alcohol, they are diabetic. That's you, because sex has something to do with the heart. They just like 1, 2, 3, the heart is really beating fast. they are holding them and they are collapsing and they cannot even satisfy a woman. And a little boy that will do something and your wife will be speaking in tongues.
Okay. Madam Theresa. Some persons also think that it is a habit that was formed at a very tender age, where you find parents who find it normal to be bringing women who find it normal to be bringing 1, 2, 3 guys. That is the children who grow up seeing it as normal, and the same for the men. That is, it's regular, it's normal for them to be coming with 1 or 2, 3 different mistresses, and the child grows up to find that activity or that lifestyle as a normalcy.
Yes, as we talk of family history and hereditary, yes, when a child, they say train a child in the way he should grow, so when he grows he will not depart from it. You will not find it funny when you as a father, you constantly brought home mistresses into your house when your children were still little, emotionally traumatizing their mother. And in the course of it, they grew up seeing it, and each time their mother complained, it's like probably there are times that you violate her physically, and as they grow, they develop hatred towards you for doing that to their mother. Because children, definitely, mothers consider mothers as gold, as we generally say it. Mothers are gold. So if you don't want to hurt your children, if you don't want the affection of your children to be taken away from you, you don't do things like that. And there are also times that when you constantly do that and you batter their mother, then you are there giving your financial support to the children, providing and giving everything to the children. Then you go so close to your children and make them know. It's like you are prioritizing that it's normal for a man to do it. It's a man's world. For a man to have as many wives as they can. You are gradually inculcating that kind of attitude into your children without knowing. And some children, if care is not taken, if probably the world is not there to counsel these children, be it in school, be it through their mother or neighbors or through TVs that they see that normally what the father is doing is not right, that child would grow up believing that, yes, I am a man. It is a man's world. So what my dad was doing, I don't see anything wrong in it. I should do it as well. And when you have a suitor and it's like the suitor wants to complain, you say, but what is it? It's a man's world. Why are you complaining? Why should you complain?
Madam Theresa, Do you know
Yes,
there are
Mr.
women?
Leo.
There are women who go out with several men, and their children are aware.
They're also aware.
They introduce these children to, and these children grow. Girls, they grow to know that it's normal for them to keep several men.
Yes, in that case, likewise, as I was saying, that some of these children, it might not be all, some of these children will grow up in that same lifestyle. So likewise, if the woman is doing that, if the mother is doing that, there will be some children who will grow up to copy that same footsteps, of which is not right. And it will come to a point where even when the father is like trying to bring them back on track, the mother keeps pulling them. This is what, I bet forget your papa. Wait to be wrong for the, they provide for me. You are killing your own child without knowing, and you will regret that in future. And there is no way you'll be able to bring back that child out of that attitude, because you have already doctrined the child. You have already nurtured that into him or her, and as she's growing, he grows up with it. And gradually, when she gets married and starts behaving like that, you should not be surprised about it. You inculcated that into the child. So that's where parents should be able to know and differentiate and try to bring in these values into our children. When it comes to parenting, know the values to inculcate in your children, so you don't affect their future.
Good evening, Mr. Leo and everyone in the studio. I'm Laku Kelvin from Oku. I really love your program. Keep on. God bless you. Thank you, Laku. Good evening. Mr. Leo, the man of God in the studio should write a book on some of these practical things to help solidify our marriages. KUNEH is writing from Bamenda. I'm sure some of them have books already. Apostle AMBE has a book on marriage, and Apostle LEFOR Divine also has a book. Good evening, Mr. Leo. We thank you for this program. I'm writing from Boya. Thank you too. Writing from Boya without sending us your name. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm enjoying your program. Let men make up their minds to stay with their wives if they have to break that chain of extramarital affairs. Mr. Beckham Elvis, writing from Manfi. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Your programs are always educative. Please tell Apostle AMBE he's speaking my mind, and that's what I am going through. I wish I could meet him one-on-one. His words are always perfect. I am Ronis, writing from Douala. Good evening to you all in the program. It's so good. Kijika Vanessa from Douala Makepe. Good evening to you. Good evening to you all in the studio, sir. Please, this issue of marriage is very broad idea that many view it in different dimensions. I wish to say early marriage really counts on marital tensions. Assuming a 25-year-old boy marrying to a 17-18-year-old girl, please, what do they really know? Can they really tolerate each other? Because tolerance is the medicine in a marital home. Nowadays, when you are single, you admire married people, and when you marry, you start admiring the singles. Nowadays, many men look for beauty while ladies look for men with cash, which shouldn't be the case. And when one marries because of beauty or cash, that marriage can't last. Okay, Apostle AMBE, please, I would like you to address this issue that people should not marry for beauty and they should not marry for cash. That is, what he's saying here is that marriage should be based on pure love. That is Fernando Funky, writing from Mabanda, Douala. I would love to know your age, Fernando. Yes, Fernando wants love to be like it's Romeo and Juliet now. Yes, marriage should be on that basis. That is true love. Good evening to you all in the studio. It's Vicky from Yaoundé. I have waited all day for this program because I need help. My husband doesn't see anything good in me. Somebody should take note of this so that we can help the Vicky.
Yes.
Please, we should help address some of these worries. Vicky says, I have waited all day for this program because I need help. My husband doesn't see anything good in me. I can do 100 things right, but he will only struggle to look for one wrong and condemn me with. He never appreciates anything I do. He is always gloomy when he is with me. He doesn't talk or discusses with me. Every least word I try to discuss with him, he avoids and doesn't respond. I try telling them out to him, but he just doesn't give a listening ear. I have tried all I can, but this lack of communication, emotionally, trauma, and lack of attention is killing me slowly. I respect my husband a lot and never want him to feel I'm disrespectful because hasn't school and I'm having a master's degree. He has instilled fear in me that each time he's home, I'm afraid because he won't see things in my dimension. Please help me because I'm so disturbed in my mind that I've already made up my mind to leave. Mr. Leo, please ask your pastor, AMBE, or the love doctor, or Apostle ALFRED to help me. I think we need to, can someone address this?
Okay. There were two questions. Let
me just come up from this time.
Vicky, yes. Vicky says she has been waiting all day for this. Yeah.
This issue of Vicky, you need to understand some things, just like what I said, that a man may be educated, but when it comes to these affective domains, they are really backward. Some people are traditional. They believe that the man must be like that to get his respect. So they just believe that if they let go, you ride over them, especially when you have that kind of level of education. So men believe that if you stay like that, you are going to be one step ahead of the woman. That's how they are. They can freely talk with people outside, freely talk with ladies outside, freely talk with friends outside, but when they come home, they'll put up that particular structure, either because they learn it from their father, or they learn it from somewhere, or culturally, that is how they were groomed, and they came up to be like that. And then the thing is that you wanted to get married to your husband, you did not have a friendly relationship. You just went in for marriage. You did not have him as a friend. And especially the issue of this distant relationship where you were only mostly talking on phone, so you did not really create a platform for discussion and friendship. So it is creating a lot of challenges. And if he used to communicate with you and all of a sudden he changes, it means that there is an emotional problem. It means that there is something haunting him somewhere, and you're not going to hurry to get the solution. It's going to be patience, and it's going to be, sometimes you need to find out from the friend, the close friend, and try to know what he's going through, because some people can better express their problems to their friends rather than talking to their wife, either because they don't want to belittle themselves. And also it can be another case where your educational standard is higher than his, and because of that there is this complex situation. He has a complex. There's inferiority complex, or sometimes he wants to have superiority complex by saying that he is the man, so he should be able to do that. All these things matter. One of the things you need to do, give him assurance, make him to know that you love him, and make him to know that you are submissive to him, and make him to know that no amount of money you have or education you have will make him to make you to despise him. And sometimes you need to create an occasion where you find out if he has a mentor or he has someone he looks up to. Try to talk out some of these things with them and let them call both of you. And during that situation, don't always try to be right. Try to see how to admit some faults and everything. And then some women too are really judgmental. Very, very judgmental. They look into the wrongs of a man, and then you shy him away, and he keeps his man away. Now a man is controlled by his respect. He wants his respect. He wants to be respected. So by the time you just begin to disrespect him, or you show him some signs of disrespect, he withdraws himself and tries to be the man that he's supposed to be. And all these kind of things, they are really killing people in their marriages. So what I am saying right now is, you are at the crossroad. Either you decide to get into the friendship process by consulting a mentor, or if the mother is there, or maybe someone that he looks up to and he can listen to the person, try to create that thing. Or he has a good friend that you think that he expresses himself to, meet that friend and try to chat one or two things and see how they can help him out.
I really want to say here that I think I gave this advice the other time, and I want to really emphasize on this. It is a dangerous thing for any man or woman to marry without knowing the person your partner or spouse looks up to.
Good.
If you don't know anybody, I always tell you, one of the things I always advise when I counsel for every relationship, those ones about to get to marry or courtship, I say you must know somebody that your partner looks up to, who has an influence in their life. I'm talking about somebody in real life, not just in books. You might know the kind of books they like to read, but I'm talking about somebody you know they listen to. Because in this kind of case, it's very easy, because the truth that even this friendship process might not be easy for a lady. A man can easily initiate that, but a woman who is
she says that she's afraid.
Yes, a woman is afraid. It's very easy. A man can break the walls, but it's difficult, especially for a woman who has been afraid for long, and because from every indication it shows that they do not have a cordial and friendship relationship. You cannot just, it's something you cannot use a one. So, but it is, you can now, a mediator can easily mediate these things.
Talk them out of it.
Can talk them out of it. So I think one of the major things she needs right now is to bring in somebody whom both of them revere, who can talk, and whom the other person will not be angry that you are talking to.
Now, but there's another side of this thing.
Afraid of the man.
No.
So they don't
listen. I have to be sincere. Any man that lives with a woman in this era and the woman is afraid of you, you are not a man.
You are not a man. You are a cow.
You are not a man.
You are not.
Any man that instills fear in a woman is not a man. You first and foremost got married to a friend. And friends are not afraid of each other.
Clearly
it's because you have not made yourselves friends. That's why somebody looks like a boss, another person looks like a servant. That is not the modus operandi in marriage.
Yes.
It is not a boss-servant relationship. It's not a master-slave relationship. It's two friends that come together, that one has it at the back of the mind that this is my superior.
It's even strange to hear that those kind of people exist.
Yes, so it's not advisable to live with a woman that the woman lives in fear.
Yeah, but we should have a word for Daisy. She says, no, not Daisy.
For Vicky.
Vicky says she has been waiting. So what are you telling her now?
I'm telling Vicky this: no matter how wild somebody may be, you have the capacity to tame the person. Every animal on earth has been tamed. I gave the story of an Ethiopian woman here the last time, who wanted to bring her husband under control. She went to a herbalist, and the herbalist told her, I will need the hair of a lion to work the charm that will be used to tame your husband. The woman went to the entrance of the lion's den, and every day she kept a lamb, because he knows that lions feed on lamb. And the lion began eating the lamb and then contacting the odor of the woman that kept up, because who feeds you, you automatically get the odor. That's the reason why when a newborn baby is born, they can get the odor of their mother's breast, because that's where they feed from.
Yes.
So when the lion realized that a human being came there every time and kept the lion's supper, became acquainted. One day the lion had eaten and just laid down. The woman came close. The lion could sense that my friend that fed me every evening had come, caressed the lion, removed the hair, and went to the herbalist. The herbalist said, is your husband wilder than a lion? She said no. He said, if you had wisdom to tame a lion and remove hair from its body, take that same wisdom, go back home, give that man that thing that he loves most, you will tame him no matter how wild he is. That's your counsel.
Okay.
And I think that there's this advice I wanted to give on this other side of it. And I think that this woman has to develop a self-worth, because you cannot have a master's degree and then you also very scared. What are you scared of? The master's degree was there to prepare you for your society and to be able to manage certain circumstances. Now you just need to bone up, and sometimes make yourself have value. Dress well. Sometimes ignore. Just greet him. Hello, how are you? God bless. You just go to where you're going to. Cook his food and keep it. Sometimes behave too like you're the mature person, and ignore some of his childish behaviors, and you will see he was now begin to say, what has come over this woman that he does not have my time again? He's not begging me like begging me before. Something will change.
Okay, evening to you all in the studio, except you have something to add to Vicky.
Now I want to answer your Wanda. Who said that you get married for love, not for money, and not for what again?
Yeah.
Beauty.
For beauty and not for
brother.
Cash, yes.
Let me use this English. Love is important. Money is important.
And beauty
love
is important
can
too.
die when there is no money. I can tell with all sincerity. Do you know why many women love Solomon? It was not just wise. He had cap.
Enough.
Bible says when David realized that God had established him king over Israel, he took more wives and more concubines. So the money has the capacity to create love. I have seen ladies love men they don't love because money
Money is
paves
there.
the way.
Yes.
So please, in
Make
the
money.
book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon, who had every woman, said, money answered all things. In other words, after God answered prayer, the person that answers all prayers is money. No matter how a woman loves you, the day she will be hungry, you will know that hunger has the capacity to kill passion. No matter how a woman loves you, if she's unable to stay under a roof, a landlord keeps disturbing, you will understand that frustration kills passion. I have seen many women who claim to have loved men. When things got difficult, that love died. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Dr. Vicky.
Yes, very briefly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, to my dear sister Vicky, as a fellow woman talking to you, as women, we have the power to manipulate our men to give us that love, that affection, the attention we need. So I will advise you, don't forget the place of prayers. Prayers changes things in the physical. So go on your knees and pray, and then work on the physical aspect of it. Be at the place of giving your husband, identifying those things that makes him happy, that brings out the hero in him. Appreciation. This is what most women fail to do. We fail to appreciate our men. Maybe that is not how he was before, and he changed. Find out what changed, what caused him to change, that he is now that beast that brought out the beast in him. What did you do that brought out the beast in him? Use your power as a woman to bring him back. How do you communicate with him? Are you being romantic? Are you being lovely? Are you being caring to him?
Okay.
Try to bring in back these aspects. Use these tips. Send love messages to him. Send love messages of apologizing. Apologize to him. Because you might, because there are times that clients come and you say apologize to your husband and they say, I did nothing wrong, why should I apologize to him? But I will tell you the truth. If you can apologize to a man, it breaks his ego and brings him back to the place of a husband to you.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Thank you for good and educative program that helps most Cameroonians. Courage. Please tell Prophet AMBE to always use his mic for his message to go through. Thanks. I'm writing from Melon. Yes, it's a part of gesticulating now. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I personally hail you for the great job you are doing and the kind of guests you always have. Greetings to Prophet AMBE and the man of God who just spoke, okay, concerning the behavior of some women. Kudos to you all. Charles calling from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm enjoying the program. Tell Dr. Apostle AMBE that I like love his outfit today. Cliff Fofun writing from Bamenda. Okay. Hi, Mr. Leo. I think society has supernormalized cheating for men, and that is why cheating has become so rampant in relationships, marriages, because no one sees anything wrong with it. Women are expected to forgive their cheating partners. This has to stop. Fonji Malis writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Malis. Good evening. Please, what is your take on a man who discusses romantically with other ladies, and when the wife complains, he says he just likes to flirt with them? He even has a particular woman who sends him porn videos. They discuss and talk about how the lady's voice gives him erection, and when his wife complains, he says it's a harmless discussion. He has nothing to do with the woman, but he has not stopped talking with that lady. According to him, it's the lady who keeps calling him. They use endearments such as sweethearts, my baby. Okay, I don't know what to say. Sister Cynthia from Kumba, just as Apostle has said, there are some women that no matter how you try to change them, they can't change. What can you do? Mr. Leo, I tell you, when there is no money, there is no love at all in the relationship. Marriage all forms. Okay. Hello, sir. Roland Ebose from Yaoundé. Any marriage not founded in Christ is a potential accident. Thanks for the great work you are doing over there. Good evening to you. Excellent evening, Mr. Liu, and amazing panelists. It's often very difficult for couples to say they know and understand themselves in the course of courtship and in newly married homes. Yet, we must understand that there are several things we will definitely discover about our partners in marriage which we may like and those we won't. Please extend my regards to Apostle LEFOR Divine. Stephanie Ngum writing from Moliko in Boya. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm a keen follower of your program. More courage to your elbows. Not every woman will support poverty, even when they are involved. I'm talking out of experience where a lady says she can't support hard times and problems begin in such moments. She Legend is writing from Yaoundé. Yes, I want to take one last message here. Okay, Mo writing from Yaoundé says, hello, good evening, Leo. I'm Mo from Yaoundé. The issue of extramarital relationship has become almost normal and hard to curb. When there is trust and commitment, there won't be room for extramarital affairs. Let couples avoid complex and be one another's keeper. Okay, good evening to you, Mo Daisy from Kumba says, good evening, Mr. Leo, and to all the panelists. Mr. Leo, your topics are always enriching. Apostle Ambe, you've spoken my mind. Tensions shouldn't be a reason for a woman's extramarital affair. Only a stupid woman will want to cheat on her husband as a means of revenge or competing with her husband. The best revenge is to do what you know how to do best as a wife. Women have an image to protect, meanwhile men are shameless. Daisy is writing from, yes, somebody said something and you think that it was not correct? The messages I read? No, somebody said all marriage
is found in Christ.
In Christ,
Yes. Please, marriage has to do with knowledge, has to do with understanding and the kind of person you get married to. We've seen pagans who have very successful marriages, and we have had shattered marriages in the kingdom. We used to think that getting married in Christ in those days was the solution. But I can tell you the only solution getting married in Christ, both of you can make heaven. But guarantee that the marriage will stand firm and walk in peace is yet to be discovered, because we have come to realize that even those who get married in the church, sometimes they don't have good marriages.
Yes, they have the very most popular
our
marriages.
problem is even this word in Christ. But I think that's where the problem is. Where you say the Lord gets married in Christ, I think even that knowledge we're talking about, because sometimes we're disturbed ourselves, sometimes we're thinking in, because you get married in church, that's the same thing as getting married in Christ. We're talking about
the marriage is going to be very successful.
Yes, just because it was in church. I think we said this last time, that just because even a pastor or priest or bishop or even the Pope blesses the marriage does not mean that it will work. We are talking about knowledge, and the truth is that when you begin to advance and begin to grow and your mind is growing, many people claim to be atheists or pagans, but they apply the knowledge found in the Bible.
That's
so
true.
so that's why I'm making this. Many people are applying the knowledge of Christ.
Yes, I think so.
The principles of Christ.
The principles.
Even the Muslims.
That's what we're talking about. There is knowledge. You see, that's why you see there's a knowledge. People walk by certain knowledge. Look at the Muslims. They have the freedom to marry about 3-4 wives, but there are still people. There are still some of them. They are top officials who get married just to one. Don't you see? There's a way that they go about their thing. They walk by their knowledge, and you will not see. How many have you ever seen a Muslim woman stop another Muslim woman say na second woman? You see, there's a knowledge. Marriage has a lot to do with knowledge and understanding.
No, you were adding to what we are talking about, marriage in Christ. That is the
yes. The marriage in Christ, you must know that it's not the matter of church.
Okay.
Because many a time when we talk about marriage in Christ, you're thinking of a Pentecostal church. No. Somebody gets married in a Pentecostal church. As a matter of fact, Pentecostal churches are very ignorant about marriage. They know so little about marriage. So little. When I say so little, because they want to spiritualize everything. Even what is supposed to be physical or fleshly, they want to spiritualize it. Marriage has a very high percentage of the flesh and a few percentage of the spirit. So when you're supposed to be in the spirit, you're supposed to be in the spirit. When you're supposed to be in the flesh, you're supposed to be in the flesh. You know, like satisfying a woman on bed sexually, that one you don't need spirit. Sometimes maybe you will only ask the Spirit of God to teach you to know how to handle this woman on bed.
Are you sure?
Yes. that kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
Njema writing from Bokwai says, good evening to you all in the studio. Apostle AMBE is on point. When money is there, love is sweeter. Good evening to you, Njema, watching us from Bokwai there in Boya. Some people actually, especially women, they are pushed out because of excessive domestic violence.
Yes, I'm not encouraging the women to go out cheating. But then, no woman should be violated. No woman should be violated by the husband. Because if you, the husband, see your wife as yourself, they say when they get married, the two become one. So if you see the woman as yourself, there is no need, there is no way you will feel comfortable and happy hurting her, violating her physically. Because when you violate her, you become hurt yourself. You feel the pinch. But if it has gotten to the point where you think violating your wife makes you feel man enough, then I'll tell you, you are not being man enough. If you were thinking in that light, a woman should be well treated. We women, we need attention. We need love. We need love. We need romance. We need to constantly hear you telling us how much you appreciate us, how much you hail us, how much you are privileged to have us. Boast the woman in us. A woman can be doing domestic chores in the house, but will never get tired, will never complain if the man is always appreciating her efforts. If the man always calls her, "Where baby Ashia, I know you have been working, at least have some moments of rest." Some men, there are men who have never taken their wives out for lunch, even for once. There are some men who think a woman's place is always in the house. Where are you going to? Then who will take care of those children? Women too need time out. We need to be taken care of. We need to be appreciated. Women need to be nurtured. Nurture the woman in us. Nurture us to grow so we can give you that love that you need. We can give you that peace that you need in the house. But if you continuously violate us, there are some men who, even if they don't physically violate you, they are verbally violating. Verbal abuse. See the one. I be go pick you for, if not I be go pick you for una village. You don't come out to can see road, you can't stand compare with me. Come on. If you are relocating your woman to being a village girl, then what do you expect of her? Are you building the woman in her to bring out the best, to give that peace, the love in the house that is supposed to be?
So women will start the husband also for 2 weeks now.
Mr. Leo,
is that not also?
Mr. Leo, if we look at it keenly, I'm not supporting that a woman should go on starving the man for whatever reason. But then, if we want to look at it or looking for a solution to this, we should find out what is the cause of this woman, of your woman, starving you. It must not necessarily be you not giving money, feeding money. There is, if you beat, just imagine you violating your woman, beating your woman constantly. Today you beat me until I cannot even walk. Then you expect me to get up tomorrow morning and prepare food for you. It's not logical now.
Okay, we are not on the same
okay. Sexual. Master. But you should give it to him now. At any time, anywhere, and whenever he needs it.
There are women who starve their husbands for 2
and it's not supposed to be so. It's not supposed to be so. Even if you are doing fasting, it should be something that you both agree. It should be something that you both agree to do it, and you come to a consensus on that. You should be able to give it to your husband. And it should not only just be at the level of what we talk of, look at sex. It should not just be at the physical part of it, like a man getting into a woman and all of that. It should be an emotional and psychological sector of it. The man should be able to sit somewhere, sit in the office and call the woman to prepare her mind, as I earlier said.
I want to add something on this so that you could be able to say, you'll be able to say some things about it. I'm talking, look at this particular issue where the man has a very large prick and the woman is complaining, and the man does not want to understand. He only comes and he wants to hit it hard, and the woman is running away from it because it is common, because some women have, their vaginas are not that big to be able to accommodate some, even though some other women they like that kind of one. But this one is, you know,
very painful.
Yes, it's been very painful, and you want to even run, the man will be running behind you, and sometimes he will even tear your pants. He tear your pants, and then he say, I marry you with my money, so I must do it. So the woman begin to run and go her out. And then when she finds herself in the hands of of a small person that can handle it well, that is more careful.
That's not inflicting pain.
Yes, you just stay there, because some of these men too, they say when you want to marry, sometimes it's good. Maybe somebody should examine it.
Who examine? Who examine? Who examine? She can examine me and think my own is small, when it's very big for the woman.
No,
she might examine and think it's
there are some
things.
Please.
We are talking about extramarital affairs.
Yes, but these are the things that will push them.
Yeah, but this issue of not actually knowing the man, because we are talking about having affairs out
Yes.
after marriage. Is it not also because we don't know ourselves before marriage, Apostle? Are we not also trying to over spiritualize this thing, like he says? Yes, because you only discover the person in marriage, and whatever you see, you have to live with it. Yes, maybe you start speaking in tongues for things to change, which may never change.
There are things that we do as tests before we marry. Before we marry, there are some tests that people carry out. Secondly, there are things we will never test. The size of a man's penis will never be tested. If a woman has no womb, it will never be tested. If a man also is impotent, we will never test it. Those are only things you discover inside. But I think sincerity demands that you expose these things to your partner before entering into the relationship. Because as an individual, if such grounds are discovered in marriage, I can advise for divorce.
Exactly.
If a woman didn't have a woman, didn't tell you, you have the right to divorce her. If a man was impotent and didn't tell you, you have the right to divorce.
But some men might not know.
But what if he had a big prick? How will you do it?
Now, if a man had an oversized penis that the woman cannot contain, is that what you are saying?
Yes, that's what he is.
There are so many gels. No, let's be sincere here. We are talking what can help people, because there are many people who I've had a case where a woman said the man's penis was too long and she does not have the deeper kind of vagina, so when the man penetrates, he hits
the
her.
womb. Yes, right.
At the bottom of the stomach. So she finds it difficult to stay with the man, to even sleep with the man. As I talk to you, both of them are separated because of that. Now, let me say this. When a man has a very large penis and the woman's vagina cannot contain it, there are gels. There are gels that people use. You can use the gel
as lubricant. To
penetrate the woman. And both of you have to agree, he has not to carry everything and push inside. Because there is no way you can solve that kind of problem. We cannot be divorcing on any little fly that jumps over the roof with divorce.
But
rat passes here with divorce.
But my point is that there's also impotence that might not know. A man might not have a man might not know he's impotent. There are many men who marry as virgins. Like men and women are married without ever having any sexual encounters. Some people might not even know that they're impotent.
I don't know whether we are talking here because we are all pastors. Are you also a pastor?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are a marriage counselor.
What you are saying, I've not finished talking. What you are saying is that we should test these things and know where
we should know what we are getting into.
Which one is testing? Because people have tested this thing like 100 women before they settle on one. So do you advise that people should be moving around testing? Because this testing thing has get us a beer.
I don't know.
You go test someone so carrying a sick.
Apostle, just learn.
Yes.
You have landed?
But he has landed.
I have not landed.
Okay, land now.
I was saying that it's not every single thing that will cause us to divorce. Our religions differ. You are talking specifically on the domain of Christians.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Christians, particularly, not just every Christian, because some religious groups will even give birth to their children for coming to bless the marriage. But Pentecostal, particularly, who hold the doctrine of don't
purity
a girl before marriage. As a matter of fact, they will send Brother Jack to follow you when you're going to visit Sister Mary to make sure that nothing happens. And then when you get married, they don't send Brother Jack to follow you to go and check if you're going to find another woman after that marriage. they protect fornication, not adultery, which are all church dogmas, not doctrines. So, if at all two persons realize that they cannot contain, if the woman feels the pain to an extent that she can, you have to run for your life.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Before I come to you, we are talking about people who are getting into a marriage and they don't know each other, only to discover themselves in marriage. What are some of those things to watch out for before engaging into a final relationship that is marriage?
Yes, as I always advise singles, that there are so many questions you should get answers to before you finally say, yes, I do, yes, he is the one or she is the one, yes, I want to walk down the aisle with him, I want to spend the rest of my life with. One of them that is most challenging, especially to women, vision, support of vision. Have you found out, have you presented your vision to your spouse as you are planning to get married? Have you presented your vision to your spouse, and what is his take on that vision? Is he ready to support you on that? As far as your vision is concerned, if he is not in support of your vision, then there are bound to be challenges when you get married.
Are you saying that if a man supports your vision 100%, he will not be able to cheat on you? Because the focus here is on cheating.
Extramarital affairs. Yeah, if your husband supports your vision, when it comes, let's say a woman, okay, I'm a marriage counselor. Let me take example to myself. I'm a marriage counselor. If I did not present my vision to my husband before we got married, when I start moving around, I start attending conferences, workshops, he did not get prepared. His mind was not prepared that when I get married to him, I have a vision to follow. That I will have to attend conferences, I will have to attend trainings, I will have to organize trainings to people. At times, it will need me to stay out of town.
So you should not think that you are sleeping
So you should not think that me going out for my workshops or my trainings means I'm sleeping around. Which means it comes to the point of him thinking, but where can my wife be? Or it should not be a thing of him not being able to manage himself in my absence. That is for the point of vision. Then for the point of the balance, in terms of, because I always talk of, we should be able to present how we intend us to manage our career.
No,
and our family life.
Those are topics for another day. The issue of today is
extramarital affairs.
What are those things to look out for before you get into marriage?
Okay,
what you are saying is,
let me go on to that now.
Yes.
You should be able to understand your own behaviors and your motives, because if you don't understand who you are, you will not be able to manage what he is bringing on. If you are not able to know your husband's behavior, your spouse's behavior, sexual behavior, you will not be able to know how to manage it, know when he is in need of you, know what you are supposed to do to meet up to his sexual needs.
So, but you people have never done it before marriage. How do you even ascertain all of that?
You discuss. Even if without the sexual attempt, you can discuss how sexual does he look at it? Yes. How what are his aspirations as far as sex is concerned? What are those things that you would like
fantasies. There are sexual fantasies of your partner.
Of your partners.
This is something that people fail to always do.
Yes.
You observe the way he reacts.
Mr. Leo wants you to clearly say that you support premarital sex.
No. I don't think you must. I don't think no.
She was saying nothing around that.
You must not support it. But okay.
No, finish.
She was talking about vision and
yes, I think the thing is, if we're talking about all of this, I want to really point out here.
Maybe that's something we should spread clearly. Premarital sex, yes or no?
I don't know.
We have to. That is what I want us to
talk about it.
Yes, that's the kind of thing. Because to me, I think that it should not be.
Okay.
Because the disadvantages are too many than the advantages.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The thing is, I want to say emphatically here that you can be the best spouse professionally, purpose-driven, and everything, extramarital affair must not come because you did something wrong. Let's say something here, because at times we are making it look like your partner must do something before an extramarital affair comes. Sometimes you are the best person you can be, you are still who you are still pursuing, and that's why you see we kept saying that stay lovely, stay appealing, and all of that. But you can still do all of that. I always tell people, I said there are people, if you ask them what is wrong, they will tell you it's not any problem. Sometimes it comes to an issue of simple discipline. It's not, sometimes it's not, sometimes some people are just weak. It's just about a discipline. Like even biblically, you see the solution that they give even for youthful laws. They say flee. Flee. They did not say stand there and pray in tongues. They don't say use the shield of faith. They did not say use the sword of the spirit. They say flee. So sometimes the only solution might be flee. Sometimes you just find that you are entangled.
But sometimes it's blackmail too. You can be blackmailed into it.
Yeah, that's why
sometimes you may have found yourself into it, but you don't know how to
go out. That's why we are saying that. That is why we are saying that. In all. Sometimes it's not only about, because we have been putting in the sense where only about the spouse or doing something wrong, or something must come from the other end. While we all are doing our best, know that you can still be the best spouse, husband or wife, and it still happens. Let's be very clear on that.
Yes.
Also, now coming to what we should look at when we are going, the truth there is sometimes why church people, permit me say this as a pastor and a counselor, have a lot of problem sexually, is because there is a taboo, there's a certain air, there is a certain reluctance of this of sex. I was using the word sexual fantasy because I wanted to be clear on that word, because if we will not have sex, you should be comfortable explaining your sexual fantasies. Look, it is normal for a man to sit and say, I would like to try anal sex. So these are sexual fantasy. Let's be very clear here. These are some things that are not being said. Anal sex. Please.
Pastor,
we are not.
Pastor, there are some things that
we
should not even talk about it, especially this anal sex or trying to encourage pornography.
No, we are not. No, please. Look, Mr. Lo, let me stop. No, Mr. Lo, let me land.
I'm feeling uncomfortable.
No, Mr. Lo, please, it's my time to talk. Let me land. If we are afraid to talk now, if a person mentions that, we are trying to solve a problem here. People have that problem. There are people who have married their husband and discovered the man is gay. Please, let's help people. Let's stop being pastors. Let's help people here. So I would like to talk.
How can you stop being pastor when you're a pastor?
No,
we are pastors.
I said, well, let's stop playing that. I should not be afraid. Look, Mr. Leo, if, for example, the man was free enough to express himself, that maybe I would like to try, you the woman, if that is against your value system, you already know that man might want to do that. Let's be very honest. These are some things that needs to be trashed in dating, in courtship.
If a man tells you that my fantasy is anal sex,
not that you back up, but you know that this man can think like that. Then you now can express yourself that, look, I am not for that.
Yeah, but you should flee now. Is that
no, but we are just saying that if it comes up, you can solve the issue. For example, if you tell the man, I will never try that. I'm just giving an example. Because like he said, we must not divide for everything.
So that thing you are talking about is called youthful lust.
The man will tame you into the house, and then
finally comes
to that point. Flee youthful lust. There are things they call youthful lust.
It is very important to understand sexual fantasies. Like for example, there's some women in the church that there's a style they call missionary position. There's a people that believe that missionary position, any type of missionary position, it has a problem. Let's be very realistic about this. If we are talking about this affair, no, please, you don't have to be uncomfortable. You have to trust it. Don't be uncomfortable here. We are
uncomfortable.
We must trust. We are saying that
those are out of sexual norms.
No,
they are really out of sexual norms.
And
those ones need a counseling that is about that's extra counseling.
Good, but we are saying that in courtship, sexual fantasies should be a discussion. Understand your sexual orientation.
So that you know whether you can
cope with it or not.
Some women don't even believe that you should do oral sex. We have talked about those kind of things. So we must trust all of those things.
Okay. We are out of time, man. Apostle AMBE, you end the program. Yes. What should the man and the woman do so that they stay faithful to each other?
As the strongest weapon against infidelity is discipline.
Okay.
That's the strongest weapon against infidelity.
Self-discipline.
Self-discipline. Number 2, the moment you start sensing emotional pull towards somebody, don't be sentimental. Cut off the relationship with the speed of light. Those are the things you must put into place. Sometimes some people think that they can pray off passions. They can pray off affection. You don't pray off affection. Don't pray off passion. You boycott.
Even after fasting, you go back.
You boycott those affections and boycott those passions. So the solution is self-discipline. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 9:27, he said, I bring my body under subjection. And he also says that flee fornication, flee youthful lust, which means the solution to this thing is to run away. How do you run? 2 ways. You run physically and you run through this thing. This is the bridge that connects two opposite sex. If you are in Golmenduka, I am in Kwakwa, I can use this bridge and cross to you, and you can use this bridge and cross to me. People start making love in communication, not when penis enter vagina.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. I like your program. It's really really educational. In fact, it's really my first time following you on this, and it's more interesting. Faith is writing from Kumba. I'll take a few messages and then we good evening to you all right there. My name's Gangbena Che. Actually, I don't know the women with the red cloth that just spoke Shirley, but I have something to add to what she said, talking on appreciating the women when they are and after doing the house duties. Yes, I'm in support of that, because women help us a lot. Watching your dresses, our shoes, cook for us, and so many others. So we really need to take them as special ones. I really have that feeling that God will judge us badly if we don't hold our wives well after doing all the job for us. Let's take it serious, please. Thank you very much. We have to actually honor women. I also wish to know how to approach a lady for relationship that leads to marriage. Also, I feel to always sleep with any underage lady. Please, how can I overcome it? Please, can I get the number of Apostle LEFOR Divine and Apostle AMBE? Okay, can you just write to me after the program? I'll send you the numbers. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm very impressed with the educative program. Many marriages have fallen because of poverty. God will. As for life, Prince Afrik, writing from Elak Oku. Mr. Man Ashatu calling from Banyu. You are nice. What brand problem? Sometimes is okay. Polygamy. It's not easy there. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the entire panelists. Please try to break the topic to our ladies panelists. What may be the cause of a man or woman to have an affair out of this marriage? Musden is writing from Limbe. She understood it. She was just trying to be too, I don't know, too spiritual about it. Good evening, Mr. Liu. You have a woman, you do everything to her, but no respect. How do you handle that? Okay, topic for another day. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Disabilities such as blindness can also cause extramarital affairs. It's Samindolo writing from Limbe. Okay, yeah, you do it thinking that the man will not see, or the woman. Good evening. I don't agree with Apostle AMBE for divorce. They don't advise for it except adultery. Janet is writing from Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I thank you very much for this powerful program. They are wonderful. I love all discussions on your programs. It is really good for both husbands and wives to listen to them. They teach a lot, but on my own part, my husband cares less about this program. More power to you. And all in the house. It is true. My lady and my husband married me as a degree holder since 2013, and up to now I'm full-time housewife with kids. Tamum, I'm writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone there. Thanks for the interesting program. My thanks goes to the able lady in the house for the wonderful advice about relationships and marriage. It's Clarice writing from Douala. Good evening. to you all in the house. Good evening to you too. Oh, this one says, why is it that it's mostly women who had to put a lot of effort in keeping their marriages? Okay, who says the men don't? Hi, sir, to you all. It's Fanyu writing from Limbe. All relationships should be based on step, meaning sleep together, talk together, eat together, pray together. Okay, thanks, Kay, for that great theory. Good evening, Mr. Liu and other participants. I learned a lot from your programs. What can one do in a case where the sexual anxiety of one partner is more than that of the other? Writing all the way from Mokolo in the far north region of Cameroon. Kong Wilson writing there. The messages are many. We don't know whether we are going to have time. Apostle, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful time, and I want to encourage you out there, please try as much as possible to stay away from temptations. Avoid putting yourself in positions where it's going to lead you to extramarital affairs, and always pray and ask God to help you to face those challenges, because there are many, even right inside the church.
And Apostle Ambe, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Thank you, Cameroonians. Always a joy to be here. Thank you.
We also want to thank you, Madam Theresia, for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. And I would say to the audience, please, let's work on our communication, on our intimacy, improve on our friendship. And if we must argue, we should argue to solve the problems and not end in separation.
Okay, we should not separate. Actually, Apostle LEFOR Divine, the love doctor, thank you for coming.
It's always an honor, Mr. Liu. I'm always excited. I want to say that I'm so much interested in you knowing, have knowledge, get knowledge and understanding, especially if you're not yet married. It will help a lot so that you don't regret. One of the worst things to do is to get married and then you regret.
Okay, marry and remarry.
So may you not regret. So I wish you a blissful future and marriage. Thank you.
I pray against the spirit of marry and remarry. May it not happen to you in the name of Jesus. I also pray for grace, so that I also pray for grace so that we will not say like Apostle Paul, that which I want to see I want to do, I don't do, and that which I don't want to do, I find myself doing. Receive grace in the name of Jesus. I want to thank the wonderful panel that came here this evening to educate our televiewers, and to those who took time off to produce the program. Eli, Desmond, and Bertrand and Noel, thank you guys for producing the show, and especially to all of you who take time every evening to follow Prime Hour on My Media Prime. Give us more wisdom, more inspiration, and reasons to even want to do more. We want to thank you to Tambe Bryant, who is supervising our work out here. Not forgetting you out there in Kumba, Didi Banderas. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.